Hey everyone, what's going on? I am ready to discuss some of my theories I had Friday. On Tuesday, halfway point between episodes 4 and 5. We're talking about my theories from episode 4 about the universe of WandaVision and a little bit of my theories going into episode 5. So let's start with Tyler Hayward. He is a very interesting character. He gives off a very weird energy. It's like he was the only guy around. Does that mean that he, like, stereotypically he's gonna be like bad now? I don't know. He is an original character to the MCU, which makes me think, is he taking an alias? People thought he could be taking an alias of the devil. What I don't know. Personally, I'm not suspecting anything because I don't have any reason to yet. But he is a suspicious character. Maria Rambeau was Photon. Maria Photon Rambeau. Now, did she get powers? We don't know, because I don't think she got powers. She didn't look like she had powers. We would have known that she had powers. And since Monica is going to be in Captain Marvel 2, I can only assume, with big names such as Miss Marvel, who we know is going to get superpowers, and have an origin story in her show, Captain Marvel, we know is going to have superpowers, I can only assume Monica's going to have superpowers. Now, will she take the name Photon after her mother? The leader of Sword, and we saw this on her little plaque in Sword HQ. Or will she go with a new name like Phasar or something, Quasar or something like that, that she used in the comics? So Monica Rambeau, if you do not know, in the comics she has had multiple aliases that she has used. So that's something I think is necessary to talk about, because she probably will get powers in this series from something, maybe going into the reality. Not completely sure yet. Captain Monica, she's a pilot like her mom and her aunt, and she's probably gone to outer space, which is cool. I think that's a nice detail in there. Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. I talked about Captain Marvel last time, but here now their name is going to be put fully to the use when they're monitoring when they're monitoring Wanda and Vision. This is a very interesting theory that I had in episode 4. When Monica, oh my gosh, I keep getting their names confused. When Monica was getting assigned her assignment by Hayward, she goes, well, drones already chaperone me. If this is because, if I'm grounded because whatever, you don't have to worry. Like, what does that mean? Did she already get her powers? Like, did she already have an incident? Why do drones chaperone her? Why are people worried? That's just my things. I already talked about in my last episode, go watch it, my reaction, about Eastview and possible villain from there. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. Wu mentioned universe creation, like when talking about, like, did the universe create this or whatever, or new universe. I think this is something we should talk about. Like, did the universe create this, and is this a new reality? What things can come out of here? I'm not sure. Is this same questions that Jimmy Woo had? Scrolls? Probably not. Same time and space? Probably. But that also refers, that line, same time and space, that he had written on the whiteboard, refers to multiple realities possible. Why sitcoms? That's just probably her coping mechanism. When she was a child, saw that on TV. Is Vision alive? We, at the end of the episode, I think we learned that he's really not, but can he be revived by this? Probably not. Will he be? I hope so. Why hexagonal shape? I said many times, just like hexes, magic. No, Dottie or Agnes were on the suspect things, and Agnes at least didn't have an ID, which is very interesting. I thought Dottie was just a regular person, and I still continue to think that. At first, I thought Agnes was regular, but and at the beginning, before the show, I thought she was Agatha Harkness, but then I just forgot about that for a while. She still very much well could be Agatha Harkness, and that, seeing as how she was on the most recent WandaVision poster, she probably is. Like, why would she be that important? Once again, the thing that disproved that would be the fact that, like, she knew that Vision was dead, where she really shouldn't be alive if she's really from the witch trials in Boston, the Salem witch trials, which at least she's in the comics. We'll see. I'm very interested. I don't know. Vision, is she just an animated corpse? We talked about that last time a little bit, but let's dive deeper into this. Because Wanda saw that after she got a glimpse of the real world in the last episode, and if he is, that means there's probably like zero chance of him being revived unless they go get the backup from Shuri, which I really hope they do. And then how can they power him without the Time Stone? We'll see about that. They said in Infinity War, though, that he can be powered without the Time Stone. So I'm just going to say that he can't be. What will Monica's knowledge lend Sword is a really good question we should have going into the next episode. I think Monica will help them a little bit, but she did already help them by saying that it's all Wanda. Next episode, they will watch the 80s episode with us, Sword. And we'll see, because Monica has now acknowledged seeing the outside world can come into her world. So both she knows that and the outside world knows that now. So they're more on like an even playing field than they have been before. So, very interesting. More questions that we really do have, at least about episode 5, is, are we going to continue with the, like, is it going to be split into a half Sword episode, half sitcom episode, a little bit of Sword at the end? I'm not sure. I really do hope now that we have Sword as of episode 4, they continue to sprinkle in, but I think in episodes 4 and episodes 5, episode 5 and episode 6, we will have large sitcom elements, because we were told that we would still get we saw talking to the camera in an earlier trailer, and we need Full House, etc. I think we're going to get an 80s episode, a 90s episode. We have 9 episodes. We got 4 done, 5 to go. We're going to get an 80s episode, a 90s episode, a 2000s episode, and then maybe a 2-part finale in modern times. That's just a guess, and there's been speculation, and I think it definitely could happen that Wanda fights Vision, and I still have this theory that Vision rebels against Wanda because he wants to get out of the reality, and he starts restoring memories, starts exploring, whatever. But then the question is, if Vision gets out of the reality, does he die? I'm not sure. And I'm excited to keep monitoring the twins as they grow up. Hopefully that they are at least 11 or so when we get into modern times. And as we continue to go on, I think it'll be interesting because we saw in the 60s, the Beekeeper, the filter of the energy barrier of Wanda's reality turned it into something that would fit a Beekeeper suit and a jump rope that fit the decade. But did it also fit just what she wanted? I don't know. But let's just say it fit the decade, and she was just doing it to fit the decade. And you get to the 2000s or the 90s, so much more stuff is going to be able to fit and go through the filter regular, unless it is filtering as she wants it. My guess is, since he went in there for a while under the ground without Wanda knowing, it probably just filtered to the decade, which is good. So as it keeps going on, maybe we'll see how much also Monica knew. If Monica knew that about the decades as they were going through, which would be kind of weird, but let's say she did, because she was there from the 50s to the 60s and from the 60s to the 70s, maybe she could give them a little insight on how the decades thing worked. We'll see. And also at the same time, I talked about all those plot points. Now we have the plot point of Agnes working with Herb and maybe other neighbors to, because they know what's going on. I don't think they're dead, as many do. I just think that they're being controlled. We're all pawns. We're all not real. We're not who we say we are. But maybe it'd probably be one word, because we're all, I'm trying to figure that out. Because they did get the real identities of the people, and I don't think they're all dead. That'd be kind of creepy, because Wanda as of what we know, it just entered a town, had a mental breakdown, and just made it her own. So assumedly they're all alive. Agnes, Dottie, we don't know about. We'll see how that goes on. I think as we get in also as 80s, 90s, we're going to get more plot points as we did in 70s and 60s. Each episode, each sitcom episode got more and more like plot-y, and I think we're going to get that as well. So I'm very interested to see what goes on. Finally, I think we have, as I said, if we do have 80s, 90s, 2000s episodes, we'll have 2 more trailers, at least. So we're going to get a Thanos commercial and an Ultron commercial, because those people did definitely cause her trauma. Ultron killed her brother, and Thanos killed her boyfriend or spouse, I don't know, partner. They were living together for a while. So maybe we'll get like Ultra-ons or Thanos, or, just like cereal, or like, I don't know, something where, I don't know, I think it's fun to think of these commercial ideas. It's one of my favorite things to theorize, but those are kind of generally my theories of what's going on with the show. And I think especially with episode 4, it's so interesting because we're bringing in a whole other corner of the MCU into this sitcom thing, where we get the sitcom element and we get the MCU element, and then we're bringing them together, and they were completely unattached. There was no relation to them whatsoever. So it's very interesting, something I like to think about, because like, now we know this is more than at the beginning I thought this was just going to be a sitcom thing and only limited to that with maybe a little bit of sword intervention. No, we have very much so sword and very much so Wanda's reality, so everything can be affected, the real world Wanda's thing. This show, I think, will have bigger impacts than we can even predict or expect right now to the MCU, which is, honestly, people are saying that it was a bad way to start off the MCU with the confusing stuff and the sitcom elements, but I think with WandaVision's end, WandaVision's lasting effects, I think that, like, this will actually be a perfect way to start Phase 4. We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to me rant about my WandaVision theories. See you all next time.